Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. The subject of the discourse today is the dormant power that lies, that every action, that is the potency of an action. So that is the subject, and it is based upon Dhammapada, Gatha number 17, verse number 17, which reads like this. Idha tappati, pecha tappati, papakari ubhayatha tappati, papang me katanti tappati, bhiyo tappati duggatingato. The evildoer suffers here and hereafter. He suffers in both the worlds. The thought, evil have I done, torments him, and he suffers even more when gone to realms of woe. Now, that is the Gatha based on which this subject will be discussed today. This Gatha relates to Devadatta, who was the brother-in-law of Lord Buddha, the brother of Yashodhara Mataji. Now, you see this, a little bit about the Sakyan kingdom and the Sakyan royal house and how they lived, their social, political and economic state, the way they managed their lives. A bit of it may be told first, because then you will know what kind of life the Buddha led when he was a young person, and those who joined him later on. Thousands of the Sakyan warrior Kshatriyas had joined him. Now, Kshatriyas are warrior caste, and in those days they were the ruling people, the ruling caste people. Now, these Sakyans, they owned a very vast area from the foothills of Himalaya right up to the midlands of middle areas of Himalaya in modern Nepal, that area, and the foothill down south, Gorakhpur and part of eastern UP and also Bihar, northern Bihar, that whole area. And so this particular thing happened in, you see, Kapilavatthu, when they were staying in, the capital city was Kapilavatthu. Now it is said that these princes, now the father of Lord Buddha was Shuddhodana, the king Shuddhodana. The social system that prevailed in that state was, of course, the ancient, the Vedic system that prevailed. The caste based on caste system, and very rigid caste system at that, and so on. So that is the social part of it, religious and social. Politically, the king was elected. So the Sakyan kingdom was actually a Sakyan republic. The king was elected among among a council of Sakyan warriors who chose the king, and that is how they ruled for some years or for a long time. Now, Shuddhodana ruled for a very long time because he was a very popular king and very highly revered. He had 5 brothers and 2 sisters, so it's a huge family that royal house of Sakyas had. And so Siddhartha had many cousins Ananda was one of them, Bhadya was one of them. He became when Siddhartha became the monk. And then later on, after 6 years of very hard, self-mortifying existence, and very, very painful, period of penance that he spent, but he couldn't get anywhere near enlightenment. But later, when he did get an insight into the middle path, and then he changed his whole mode of his sadhana, his spiritual pursuit, and he became the Buddha. The first thing he did after becoming a Buddha was to he had given word to King Bimbisara that he will visit his state after he becomes an enlightened person. So he wanted to retrieve his promise, and so he went towards Rajagaha. On the way, he went to, various places, and he collected more than 1,000 disciples who were all of them had become arhats. So when he arrived in Rajagaha, he had more than 1,000 and odd monks, all arhats. And King Bimbisara heard, and he came, and he heard the discourse, and he was spiritually transformed. He became a Sotapanna, one who has entered the stream that irreversibly leads to Nibbana. So he was spiritually transformed and became a very great devotee of Lord Buddha. He gave a vast area and built a monastery called Veluvana, the bamboo monastery, very famous, the first monastery. There the Buddha settled down for about 6 years or 6 months he spent, and every day from morning till night, large number of people would flock, and he gave them the Dhamma, and a large number of people became arhats. It was a very, very wonderful time indeed. I am shortening the whole thing because the purpose of the subject is elsewhere. We'll just cut short here. And then after that, the first thing he wanted to do was to visit his parents. So somewhere, Buddha had arrived in Rajagaha somewhere near December, around this time, where now. And by the time it was, March, he was ready with 10,000 arhats from that area only. But when King Suddhodana had heard that he had arrived in Rajagaha, he sent mission after missions of Sakyan warrior, princes. 1,000 Sakyans formed the first mission with a minister heading that mission. And all of them arrived and heard the Dhamma, and they became also monks, and they did not return. They had come with a mission. The mission was to take back Siddhartha to Kapilavatthu. But since they had become arhats and liberated, enlightened monks, they just stayed on, they didn't bother anymore. So like that, 10 missions, that is 10,000 Sakyans also had become arhats. So now the Buddha thought with these 10,000 from the Magadha, Anga and Vanga areas, and 10,000 here from the Sakyan kingdom. So 20,000 arhats, they left in the full moon day of March and arrived in 2 months' time on the Buddha Jayanti day, the first Buddha Jayanti day after his enlightenment. He spent in his Kapilavatthu and retrieved his word. He had given his word to Yasodharma, who was sleeping. Of course, he said, just before leaving, he said, I will come back when I am ready, when I have discovered the truth, and then I will share with you and everybody. And that is what he did. So, after he was received in a very gorgeous way, and he spent every day was a kind of spiritual adventure for all the people of that city and that kingdom for that matter. Then at the end of his visit, now you see, his brother Nanda had become a monk. I am cutting short these details. Then Rahula also, he was only 7-year-old. His mother had told him, Yasodharama had told him, you go and ask for your paternity. And so Rahula went and asked that innocent little boy, and you see, he won't leave him. See, he followed him right up to the monastery where the Buddha was staying at that time, Nikurodharama. He had gone for, you see, Pindapata Dana, he was invited in the palace. From there he went. So Rahula followed. Then Rahula told Venerable Sariputta, he says, all right, he is seeking paternity. Let us give him the highest paternity that anybody can give. That is how he became a monk. At the age of 7. So now, King Suddhodana was more or less, he was little, you see, he said now, when he came to Buddha and said, when you left, my heart was broken. Now, then you came back, and your brother Nanda, who was the Yuvaraja at that time, heir apparent, he too became a monk. Then Rahula, my grandson, even he also has become a monk. I am very much touched by this. On one hand, I feel the greatness of your the greatness of your spirituality, but on the other hand, this affair of the state, that also works on my mind. So he says, Lord, give me a boon. The Buddha said, yes, Maharaja, please do tell. He says, give this boon that before you ordain any young boy, he must get the permission of the parents. Buddha said, all right, very good. And that is how he maintained. Until a person attains the age of 20, he cannot be made a monk unless he receives the permission of the parents. So now this is the first part of this story. So now after about couple of months he stayed there with a huge number of Sakyans and all that, thousands of them literally. They all returned, they were on their way to Rajagaha Veluvana monastery. On the way, now the king meanwhile had undergone spiritual transformation of a most spectacular manner. He had become an anagami, never to be reborn in the Kamaloka. And then later he became a full arhat. And in 7 days' time he passed away. So now, the king had told, when Buddha he wanted to see off the Buddha, he came up to the border, that is the border between the Sakyan kingdom and the Malla kingdom. So he says, Lord, if you had been the king of this land, you would be surrounded by 1,000 warriors all the time. Now you are the Dharma Raja, the monarch of truth. So you too should be surrounded by at least 1,000 Sakyan, nobles from the royal, the aristocracy of the Sakyan republic. That is how 1,000 monks also he got. He settled down in a place called Anupiya Mango Grove in the Malla kingdom, very close to the border. And he was staying there with these 1,000. He ordained them, he became a monk. Now there are thousands, literally. So these people, Sakyan, the others, leaders and the heads of the Sakyan community, they said, look, every family has contributed somebody to become a monk and lead the holy life. Now only 6 of them have not. These 6 were Bhadya, who had been chosen to be the next Yuvaraja, then Anuruddha, then Ananda, then Bhagu, Kimila and Devadatta. 6 of them. They didn't care tuppence what happens in the country. They were quite indifferent. They were playful young people, absolutely ignorant of anything of the world. One example of Anuruddha. He didn't know from where rice came. There was a big, argument among them. They were all cousins. They said, do you know from where rice comes? And the Sakyan economy depended entirely on rice export. The Sakyans had produced, they used to export some of the finest varieties of rice that India enjoyed at that time. And one particular variety was known as what is now known as parboiled rice. It's a particular paddy that is boiled first in a big vat, and then it is husked, you see, in a special way by pounding, and that was very popular. That's only one variety, and there are so many other varieties. So now these princes didn't know from where rice came, and their whole economy of the country, everything depended on that. They're so ignorant. So now there was a debate. So Kimila said, look here, I think the rice comes from a barn. That is where you see this paddy is stored and then processed to become parboiled rice. So the Anuruddha said, no, I'm sorry. Bhadya said, no, you're wrong. It comes from the pounder. I saw the pounder. Then Anuruddha said, no, both of you are wrong, my dear. It comes from the golden bowl that mother puts on our table. So that was the type of ignorance that Anuruddha had. And he was a cousin of Lord Buddha. So they didn't know at all how things were. So one day, you see, they were playing. They were all youngsters. They had some kind of ball game, I think. And while playing, Anuruddha kept on getting defeated. He was defeated all the time, and the others won. So he had to pay. The rule of the game was he had to feed them with the best type of puwa. Puwa means a kind of cake. It's made out of rice. Either it's steamed and then put in syrup and a very, very nice thing, delicious one. Or it's like a pancake, flat and fried and put in the syrup and so on. So, since he had lost the game, he called one of his servants, he said, go and tell mother to bring some puha. I have to give this my brothers. So the mother sent in a golden bowl, and this happened 3 times. On the 4th time, the mother simply did not have. She asked the cook, she said, no, it's all finished, madam. So then she said, all right, if he has got punya, today I am going to talk on that. If he has got punya from the past, let him have his puva. So now, she sent a golden bowl covered by another golden cover, and empty with his servant. He went and the servant said, the mother told him, look here, there is no more pua. You go and tell him and give him this empty bowl. The servant went and said, there is no pua. He just said, no pua. So Anuruddha thought no pua must be a special variety of pua, which is called no pua. No cake. So he said, Now he opened the bowl and he found the bowl was filled with some very delicious, most wonderful aroma that he had never seen that kind of cake in his whole life. And it filled the entire place with its aroma. Now how it happened, this is a kind of miracle. The miracle of punya. It seems long in the past, when there was a famine in the country, Annabhara. At that time, this Anuruddha, as a prince, had given the food that he had received. With a very difficult time, nobody had any food, but he had received some. And a Acharya Buddha appeared in his doorway. You see, one of those hermit enlightened ones who appear at a time when the Buddha's teachings are absent in the world. When the world is in darkness, that is a time the Acharya Buddhas appear in large number, and they are not able to bring enlightenment in people in the sense that, you see, a Samma Sambuddha, supremely enlightened one can, or an Arhat can, using the enlightened one's teaching. But they are self-enlightened, but they can create a kind of civilization. They can teach about Sila, they can teach about Samadhi, they can bring all this. But the Panya, the intuitive insight into reality, leading to spiritual liberation, that they can't bring about, though they themselves are enlightened. So anyway, they are extremely powerful beings. They live in the Himalayas, in the caves, and once a day they would appear in some place and for their, Pindapata, the alms round. So now this gentleman at that time happened to, he was just going to eat a very precious meal, very difficult to get at that time. And he saw the Acharya Buddha, spontaneously he just offered the whole thing in his bowl and said, Lord, give me one blessing. May I